All right. Welcome, you guys. I'm so excited to have you here with me. I am super, super excited to share Embracing You with you tonight. I've spoken to a couple of you privately about it already, and I just am super, super excited. I think it's going to be super great. But I have had a lot of people ask me, okay, what is this about? What are we doing? What are we doing? So I thought it would be helpful to have a quick webinar to share a little bit about what this is, kind of where it came from, and what you can expect. We are still kind of in the process of deciding if we want to make it like a week by week course or just open up all of the content for you all at once so that you can kind of go through it at your own pace, and then we will actually be doing weekly Zoom chats amongst the group that does it with us here in October. So, and then during those Zoom chats, then we can kind of just discuss, collaborate, maybe swap some recipes, see how everybody is doing and how they're feeling about stuff. So Embracing You is an online course. It's going to happen through my website. All of the content is actually on my website. Once you register, you will have your very own login, and then most of the content is through video form. I'm actually just finishing up the workbook that goes along with it, so it's very, very detailed. But some of the content, like to give you a little bit of an idea of what you can expect. The first week is a lot of mindset and like goal setting and those sorts of things. It's a total body, mind, spirit type of a wellness program. And so as an integrative nutrition health coach, what's really cool is a lot of my training focused on being able to kind of address the whole body in terms of like, is stress playing a part in how we're feeling? Are maybe different emotions playing a part in how we're feeling? And besides the food and the nutrition, all of those other things can have a really big part to play as well. And then obviously I use essential oils, and so I incorporate that in my everyday life and in my coaching as well. And so for those that are not yet involved with the oils, it's totally an optional thing. But if you are, then I can share how to utilize them as a tool to optimize your wellness. So like I said, week one is a lot of like inspiration and goal setting and what I call primary foods. And I'm not going to share what that means because you're going to need to get into the course to see. But week two is a lot of nutrition education. And so through the second week, when we are discussing nutrition and different strategies and different tips, a lot of my intention for that week is really just to get you thinking about things differently than maybe you've thought about them so far. So what I mean by that is oftentimes we can sometimes turn to food to fill a hole or turn to it for comfort or something like that. Whereas if we kind of change our thoughts in the way that we perceive food, then and look at it more as a fuel source, not unlike putting gas in our car, then sometimes our thought processes change enough to where it makes sense to maybe change our meal plans in a slightly different way to make us fuel better, or fuel our bodies to take on our day better. And so I like to train and educate my clients in that way because every one of us is going to be a little bit different. If you are an athlete, then you might eat a little bit differently than someone who has a desk job and doesn't have a ton of physical activity. So the other thing is hormone balance can absolutely play a part, and especially where all of us ladies here tonight are probably in similar age groups, then hormones can definitely start rearing their ugly heads, and so nutrition can absolutely play a part in how we feel with that as well. So I would absolutely throw in a couple of nutrition tips for hormone balance. And the beauty is too that I have the luxury of being able to work very closely with a local physician who specializes in hormone balance through nutrition, and weight loss tends to sometimes become a happy side effect with that. And so teaching people how to eat in such a way that helps to balance their hormones can actually be really, really pleasant, because a number of other things can sort of fall into place, problems that we didn't realize that we had. So it makes it kind of nice to be able to address everything all at once. The third week, we go back to our primary foods when we discuss a little bit more about relationships, physical activity, and career, all three of which can sometimes be stressors in our lives. And so I give some tips on how to manage some of those stressors. In the career portion, there's some budgeting tips, since finance can sometimes be a stressor. And so what's interesting is that all of those things, like, you wouldn't think that that would have anything to do with how we feel or, our overall wellness, but all of those things play a huge, huge part in how we feel. And so addressing those and just bringing them, shining the light on them, so to speak, bringing them out into the open, can help us to see, okay, well, if I've got an imbalance somewhere, or if something that's pertaining to one of those things is maybe a little bit out of whack, then gives you the opportunity to give it the attention that it needs, or learn how to cope with it in a better way that helps you not sort of be in that maybe fight or flight mode all the time, where stress is really high. And so then the last week, we talk a little bit more specifically about specific foods. I share a bunch of recipes. We do some meal planning examples, and some other tips and advice. There's all kinds of tips and advice in that last week. And then we do a lot of self-care education during that last week as well. So it's a total mind, body, spirit wellness program, completely loaded, full of as much education as you could possibly think, all wrapped up in this nice little package. So because you guys joined me on here tonight, I do have a coupon code that I will private message you. And so if you are interested in taking advantage, then you can certainly do that at a discount. When we were trying to think about the price point for this program, I gave a lot of things put a lot of things into thought in terms of how I would determine the cost for this. And what I figured was that with the amount of education and the amount of time that we get to spend together, it's probably really close to about $600 worth of health coaching. But I thought, what an awesome way to, do it as a group program so that the price point can come down significantly. And so I thought $167 for a 1-month course would probably be really, really great, and real affordable for everybody. So if you think that that this is something that would make sense for you or the people that you know, then I highly encourage you to get in and get registered. Our next session starts on October 2nd, and we will do weekly Zoom chats just like this. And the date and time for those is still yet to be determined. I'd like to ask some of the ladies in the group to see how we can somewhat accommodate everyone's schedule as best we can, but all of them will be recorded. So for those that really just can't make it during the time that we're doing the calls, then the recordings will be put up for people to participate in. And then there will be a private Facebook group that the members of the group can participate in. And the real big part of all of this too is that we're not alone in this. There's so many of us that struggle with so many of the same issues. And I feel like my skill set is really the nutrition and the oils, and I've been there. I've had stomach issues. I've got a child that has stomach issues. And so, you know, I've kind of walked that path a little bit and can offer a lot of personal experience in how to rectify some of that stuff. And so it makes it really, really nice, though, to come together, especially as a group of women who, you know, just want to be able to kind of get that, I don't know, that family feeling, to, you know, be able to know that they're not alone, that they can, you know, come and share their trials and their successes, and we can cry and celebrate and do all of those things together and just have a good time. So anyway, that's the super condensed Cliff Notes version of what this is all about. Do any of you have any questions about it so far?
It sounds like it's going to be a great program.
Yeah, this sounds really reasonable. And for someone like me that has issues with their body functioning properly because of environmental factor, this is going to be pretty good. And I'll send you that information, and maybe you can shed some light, maybe.
Okay.
And stuff. So, because my body doesn't function like everybody else's. So.
Well, and that's what I think that, you know, that was when I was talking with another friend of mine when we were naming this, you know, it's embracing you, because every one of us is very, very different. Yet some of us are, you know, different enough, yet sometimes what's funny is that, you know, your experience, Janet, might be real similar to what somebody else in the group might be experiencing too, or maybe not, but maybe what you're experiencing is something that they're struggling with and they've been lost in trying to figure out answers. So I just feel like it's going to be something that'll be really, really great for all of us to sort of come together and, you know, support one another in finding answers and trying to figure out solutions to what's going on.
Well, I just thank you this is going to be amazing.
Awesome. Well, I hope so. I think I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be pretty great too.
So do you want us to email you or message you on Facebook the days that we're available and our specific issues, or do you want us to send that to the group, or how do you want us to do that?
I'll send you a private message, Janet. We can figure it out after this call. Does that sound okay?
That's perfect. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that sounds great. Awesome, ladies. Well, I don't have any more to add. If you guys don't have questions, then I can go ahead and stop the recording.